All right, so hello, welcome, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining again our free online lesson. My name is Nabi Fikri bin Shaizan, and today I would like to share with you about the inventor removing excessive material. Right, so this is basically the topic for our free online lesson for today. So what we're going to do here is that we are going to remove some of the materials from our object. For example, inside our inventor, we have a tools called shape generator. So what it basically does is it does not actually generate a shape. Basically, what it's done is doing the opposite of generating the shape. It's removing the material. Right. So what it's done is that taking our original materials, original object from here, and then you generate a new shape with less material. So basically, that is what that is what it does. Now, from here, we can see we have our example from here. On the left image over here, you can see we have this bulky image, this bulky item over here, and we want to remove some of the image. So what shape generator can do is that it can give us an idea on where to remove the materials without reducing the strength of the material itself, without our material to be filled. So we will have something that we like on the left, on the right side. Right, so basically shape generators allow you to reduce the weights, and because of this, it will improve your performance, and of course, it can help you to save the material cost. So let's go with the inventor. So let me show you. Right. So basically, for example, I have this this model over here, right? So this robotic model, and you can see this by the look of this, so you can feel that this robotic are very heavy. So what we're going to do is that we're going to remove some of the materials, some not very crucial parts or crucial areas. So we're going to generate on that area on which part that can we remove. Now let's take a look on some of this area. For example, on this arm over here, let's say this particular section, which is this one, is a little bit bulky, so very heavy, you can see that, and we want to remove some of these materials without affecting the mechanical process of this from this product itself. So what I can do is that I can open this one. So I'm going to right click and open, and this will allow me to edit these objects. So let me just open the file. For example, this one, basically this is the arm for the objects, and you can see the materials are very, very thick, and we want to remove some of this excess area. So inside of Inventor, we have shape generator. So on the 3D model itself, you can find, and on the explore here, we have shape generator. So if you don't find this shape generator or the explode ribbon over here, you can go to the drop down and make sure the explore button is turned on, and then you can find the shape generator from here. So I can click on the shape generator over here, and what it does is bring you into the analysis tab over here. So you can see some familiar faces, if some familiar tools you can find from here. So if you're using the stress analysis before, so you will find this one a little bit similar, because this is in fact part of the stress analysis tools. For example, let me just finish this one. So if you're using stress analysis, then you will find that you will have the same tools from here. So basically, you can go ahead and edit. So most likely on the default one, on the static analysis, when you press OK, then you find something from here. Right. So on this study properties itself, you can actually select the shape generator below here, and it will bring you to the shape generating process. So you can either select the stress analysis and select which study that you want, or you can just directly go to the explore and using this shape generator. So let me just click on this shape generator itself, and you can find from here some of these tools that you can input. So we're going to define some of the things, some of the rules that we can input on this object itself related to our working process of this robot. Now, the first thing, of course, to analyze it, I need to assign a material. So what types of object this one created from? So for that case, I can go into the material and assign the material itself. So if this is generic, so I can just override and either select some of the materials that I needed to for this case. Right, so let's say I use steel for this object itself. So I'll press OK. So basically, my analysis for the object will be created from the material steel. Right, the next thing is on this analysis, we're going to define some of these other areas, such as we're going to define which is this constraint. So which mean which is this object being put into. For example, if this one is mounted to a wall or something, so I need to input that area that to be mounted as a constraint. For example, if you take a look closely on this object, obviously we can say that this is the main mountain, and then this object itself connected with this object over here, which is this robotic head over here. So we can say that the connection between this and here will be put as a constraint. So we can find it is actually connected using bolt. So on the bolt area that I must ensure that this one will not be moved, it will be fixed in place. That will be the constraint. So if I go back over here, I need to input the constraint location. So this tree location here is the constraint. So okay, this one, right? So let me just take a look. All right. So at the back over here. So this tree over here. To input constraint, so I can go into the constraint tab over here. So if it directly mounted into the wall or something, so you can use fix. If it glue into the wall, if it's welded into another buildings or another object, so you can use fix. But for this case, using these bolts and nuts, so for that I can use pin. So I'm going to pin this location. So I'm going to apply this location as well, and at the back location as well. So that is the three location that will be fixed into the robotic head. So the next rules that I needed to ensure, which is the force of this object. So we're going to make sure that when it generates the object, it generates the area that can be removed, this object itself will not be fail or break in case some other forces apply. Right, so let's take a look on here. We have some other area from here. So let me just, right. So let's say this one will be used to climb an object. For example, we have some boxes that will be climbed into. So what are the area that being put from here? So we have this piston cylinder over here. So we can assume that this piston will be extended in order for it to grab. So it will have this force directly push on that area. Right, so this one will be applied, let's say around 500 pounds. And then on the other area, so we have here, so this clamp will be pushed on this box over here. So the force will be applied from this box into the clamp itself. So we can assume this will be the next force. And the last force will be on here because this one also have connection. So let's say this one is moving to that direction and this one moving to that direction. We can assume that this one will be moving to the back when it clamp into the box. So we can add another 500 forces over here. So let's start to input that forces. So on my object, so we can go into the load and we can start to input on this three location of force, which is the first one. I'm going to input grab. Oops, let me just cancel. The first one will be on this face. So that will be this area around, let's say around 500 pounds. So I'm going to hit apply. So that area that we have. So the next one at this area over here. So I'm going to put another one. This one, I'm going to make sure that this follow the direction of this Y, right? So over here we have Y direction. So I must make sure follow the Y direction. So the Y direction, that will be 500, and X will be 0, Y will be 500. Now, the direction a little bit wrong there, so I'm going to put negative, so it will change the direction itself. Right? Okay. So I have that, and then lastly, I need to input one last force from here, so that will be on the left to right direction. Again, I'm going to use vector force, so that will be 500 as well. Right, the direction is correct. I'm going to hit apply. So we have applied some of the force direction on this. So next step, we can proceed to generate the mesh view. Now I can just directly click on the mesh view and it will give me some sample mesh view from here. So if you needed to make sure your mesh have a different type of size, so you can go into the shape generated and then you can apply from here. So this mesh or triangle that you see over here is where the calculation will be begin on this triangle from here. Now, if you have more triangles, smaller triangles, so your result will be much more accurate, because this is where the calculation will begin. So if you want more accurate, so you can add more triangle, make it a bit smaller, so it will give you it will calculate more instead. But the smaller that you have means the more calculation that will be done, your the loading time for calculation will be much longer, because many area that you needed to calculate. So depend on your preference. So if you needed to do it quickly, so you can just simply use bigger mesh size. So if you need to be more accurate, so you can set it into lower mesh. So to set the mesh resolution, you can find from here. We have the mesh set to 3. So if I wanted to lower this one, let's say I'm going to give it around 2. So it will be much smaller. So when I hit OK, all I need to do is that I'm going to go into the mesh over here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to update this mesh, so you can see this mesh become much smaller. Now I don't want this loading time to be higher, so I'm going to set back to 3. And then another thing that you can set from the shape generator setting is that you can set the mass target for this area to be removed. For example, I want to remove 60% of the material from my object over here. So I can go into this mass target over here. I can select reduce based on percentage, or I can also reduce based on the target mass from here. So I can just select either direction. Now, the one that gives us around 60, so I believe this is probably too much for me, too much material that will be removed. Let's say I want to reduce some more. I'm going to get about 40%. I'm going to click OK and just update back the mesh. So once done, I can go ahead and generate the shape over here. Now, generating the shape will be slightly longer compared to a common analysis such as static analysis or model analysis, because it's trying to generate a new shape as well, not only just finding where is the area that will be less impactful. Now, let's give it a few seconds before it fully generates. Now, I also have created some other file over here so that we can just refer back to that other area. Okay, so we have generated the file from here. So you can see the final result that we have over here is not very nice. So you can see some of this area will be that it suggests us to remove. Okay, so some of this area, we have some of the back over here. So not very nice. Probably I needed to have some on the front over here and on the top over here. So this one is actually will be strong, but I don't want this object to be looking like this. probably there are some at the area that I want to preserve. So for that case, you have what we call as preserve region. So to preserve region, it will generate and it will try to retain that region that you have selected. Now you can find the tools from the goal and criteria. So we have preserve region. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure the area over here is slightly larger. So I'm going to reserve some of this material from this area. I can use preserve material. And over here, I can select the faces. And I can set the radius or the size for this region. For example, I'm going to give it around 10. So this particular area will be reserved and it will try not to remove this area. I can also use these sliding methods to edit. So I'm going to give it a little bit higher, bigger. I don't need, so if I take a look on this front over here, I don't necessarily need to be square. So I can also make it circle over here, a cylinder object. So I'm going to reserve a cylinder object from here. Now, if I need to move, I can also use center point from here. So if you don't see that, you can always go and turn this arrow, additional arrow from here. Right, so let's say this is the area that I want. So I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to preserve some other more. Say this area as well. So I'm going to apply this area. Let me just apply some of this area. So once I'm done, if I regenerate back that particular area, it will not be removed like it happened before. Right, so basically, let's say that is the area that I need to remove. Let's say one also from the back itself. So that's where you can always go and edit the size that you need to. So let's say this is the area that I want to preserve. So once I'm done, again, I just go ahead and generate the shape. So I don't need another downtime. So I'm going to just open the file that already calculated from me. So I have this one already created the preserve shape, preserve area over here. Right. So I believe this is not the one. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so I have some preserve area over here, the preserve region. Okay. So all I need to do is that I just need to regenerate back the shape. And you can see this is the new generated shape that has created over here. Okay, right. So once we have created something like this, there are some also other things that you might want to notice from here is that if I try to take a look, zoom in a little bit, some of this area are not perfectly balanced from the left and also the right direction are not balanced. Right, for example, this one particular has been removed, but this one has. Okay, so if I flip back to this left side also, so we have this area, but on this side it has been removed. Right, so basically I needed to make sure it has a balance, removing from the left and right, so it will be evenly removed. So for that I can use symmetric plane. So when I click symmetric plane, from here I can set the symmetrical planes, whether I needed to make sure this one is removed from this plane, or maybe I can also select select this plane from this one or this one. Right, so you can select which plane that you need. For this case, I'm going to just choose this one, press OK, and then you will have this symmetrical plane. So we have one plane over here, and the ending. So I just needed to regenerate back the planes. Again, I can click over here and it will be recalculated. So again, it will take some more times. So for that case, I'm going to just open one that has been finished. So this one I have. Once I have generated, I can just go back and double click the result over here. Then you can find from here the area has been evenly removed from the left and also on the right side from here. So you can see not much area that, for example, this one has been removed, this one also removed. So it is evenly removed. Right, so once we have removed, so if I just finish my sketch, my object still looks something like this. Is because that part is only for analysis only. So what I can do is that I can bring back the analysis result inside my modeling environment. So for that case, over here on my result over here, what I can do is that I can promote to shape. Right, so I already have from here, so let me just delete this one. Right, so result, let me open mesh. Okay, so this is the result that I have. So what I need to do is that I just need to promote into shape. Right, for example, it does not, for some reason it does not out from here, so let me just undo that one. So once you have promoted, you will have something like this. So basically it will be looking something like this. Right, so you can see the area that that is trying to preserve and the area that you can remove. For example, we don't have this area, so which means this area I can remove, this one I can remove as well, and then as well. So you can just take a look at that as a guide to remove. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this area. So you don't actually need it to remove according to the one that has been shown over here. So this is just a guide that you can use. So I'm going to remove some of this area from the side from here. And let me just trim this one. Can remove this area as well. This area I'm going to remove as well. Let's say this area. And then this area. Lastly, let's say I want to remove this area as well. Okay, so all I need to do is that I just go ahead and cut this particular area. Go ahead and cut. And I have this particular area that has been removed. Now let me just make some finishing. So I'm going to add some fillet. It's around 5 radius. Give it around fillet. So I want some more from here and also here as well. So I'm going to get this one as well. Now with this new object, obviously it's going to be very light compared to before. And we can start to take a look on how it will look like on our object. So let me just save this one. And then this is the new shape that it will be having on the robotic arm from here. So if you wanted to test the strength of this, so you can always go back with it. And if you want to test the strength, so what I can do is that I can go to stress analysis again from here. So I can right click the shape generator and copy the study. So basically what you're going to do is going to copy some of these settings that I have created on this study, such as the materials, the constraints, the area of the constraint, the force that I have applied will be copied into this new studies. but I don't want this new study to be shape generator. I needed to study for the strength itself. So I'm going to go ahead and edit studies. So from shape generator, I'm going to select static analysis. I'm going to analyze the static. And then I click from here. So from here, I already have material assigned it. So I can check back from here. Material is as defined still. So if I check my constraints, so this is the constraint that I have input over here. So you can see the logo and the load have been applied from here. So all I needed to do is that I just need to regenerate back the mesh. So I just click the mesh view, so it will generate a new mesh area. And all I need to do is that simulate the result from this mesh. And this is basically the result that I have for my for my new shape from here. Right. So this is the mob one message for the stress result. So I can take a look on the displacement result. So basically, this is what will be changed, what will be happen on your material, on your product itself. So it will bend backward, but you can see the amount of backward that has been displacement over here. It's only around 0.1 millimeters. It's not very much. So should likely your object will be still safe. Right? So it will not be break. So this one, what you see over here is only a exaggerated result. So if you wanted to see what the actual deformation happens, so you can always go back to the display over here and you can adjust to actual. So basically this is what will happen in real life. So if I zoom in, you can see it's only deformed around 0.1 millimeter only. Now that is for the deformation. So if I want to see which direction, I can go into the adjusted, then I can see which direction it will be deformed. The last day, say I needed to go ahead and take a look on the safety factor. So I can see from here the lowest safety factor for this object on this particular area is around 2.48. So basically, if I needed to have safety factor around 1.5, so this one is already applicable. Right, so I can use my probe and I can find which is the area for the maximum and also the minimum. Okay? Right, so basically this is the minimum area for the safety factor. Right, so if I needed to increase some more, so I can always go ahead and edit on this particular area. So I can just finish and just add some more material in this case. But you can see some of this that has already been removed, not very much affected for our strain. Right, so basically that is all that I would like to share with you. I hope this is useful if you need to removing some of the materials from object. So that is all from me today. I hope I can see you guys again on our next video lesson. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and bye-bye.